What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Friday Master Agency Call. Let me blow this thing up. It is Friday, April 18th. How's it the 18th already? Let's go. Let's do this. All right, so we always start with this slide. Kate and I like this one because these are all our favorite calls of the week. You are already on this one, so this is the Friday Master Agency Call, but we've got a lot of gold lined up for you guys throughout the week. Some of them are team calls, some of them are symmetry-led calls. I'll start with the accountability group. This is one of our favorites. We meet every day at 9 a.m. Eastern. Kate, we got to switch this to Eastern time. We've got like,
Yeah, I just made a note to talk to Kellen about that because we talked about making it. We're
yeah,
at
we've got so many East Coasters here. I think that would make sense at this point.
yeah.
But
Stay
shout
tuned.
out to
Next week will be Eastern.
shout out to Nicole in San Diego. We'll maybe make a little asterisk there for Pacific time. But the accountability call is great, and y'all are all welcome. This is a call for anyone who wants more accountability. We're gonna have a sign up sheet here later in the slide deck for you guys to join that. But we meet every day. The first 15 minutes is motivation. The second 15 minutes is diving into the numbers that matter most. And I love this call so much because it builds accountability to yourself and to your business on the metrics that matter, which is helping families. So we talk about this call a lot. I do want to kind of let you guys know, hey, if you're in the car while you're taking this call, that's okay. If you're on your way to the school drop-off line, that's okay. You'll still get to join in and listen to all the gold that is dropped on a day-to-day basis. And you can join either 3 or 5 days a week, whatever works best for your schedule. Mondays, we do a leadership and builders call. Everyone's welcome to come to that as well. We talk about building your business, leading well, improving and growing your agency, all the things related to building a big business here. So we love that one. Casework calls on Tuesdays. You can show up in the virtual office, ask all your questions about casework. You know, if you have a tougher client and you're like, oh, I'm not sure where to go for this person, they've got, a laundry list of medications. We will be in there and we'll help point you in the right direction. We're not just going to hand you the fish. We're going to teach you how to fish with your client. Okay. So we'll teach you how to find the answers. The SFG national call on Wednesdays, that's a staple for Kate and I since we've started here. I don't think we've ever missed one unless we were like on an airplane. We've been consistent. We love that call. That one's on Wednesdays, 11:30 to 1 o'clock Central Time. And then Thursday, deep dive with the sales experts is one of my favorite calls as well, because we get to dive into everything related with sales, digital leads, switchboard, how to overcome objections, how to get through the speed bumps with clients that we all normally run into. So pure gold on that call. You guys can find every one of those links on the Schnitzer Master Agency schedule from your handbook. Kate, I thought we were going every other.
We are. I thought I was unmuted, but I was, or I thought I was muted. All right, guys, live dial sessions. If you are newer, what this is our virtual office that is always open, pretty much 24/7. You'll see somebody in there depending on time zones. This is where you will see agents live dialing. So if Scott, you can go to the next slide. This is what our week looks like this coming week. So you'll see Sarah Neal, Jenny Goldsmith, G, Teresa, Michelle, Wilbur, Venus. I know that there's a couple other people that are going to get on there. These spots are going to be filled. And if you're working, you're already in the virtual office. So then what it's going to look like is Jenny's going to unmute and say, hey guys, I'm going to start my live dial session. If you want to listen in, feel free. If not, just turn your computer volume down. But we're all still working together. And then what this gives the opportunity is for newer agents or agents looking to grow to hear agents dial and maybe pick up little nuggets here and there that work best for them. But also newer agents say, today, Stephen Jung was on there. Hey, I'd like to dial. Can you guys provide some feedback? So it kind of goes both ways. Vet agents and new agents, you can teach somebody and lead somebody, but you also can get there to get some coaching and feedback directly. So if you are not signed up, go to the general Slack. Kellen has the link posted there as well as the QR code here on the screen.
Oh, we have a QR code built into this now. That's fancy. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Love that. Whoops. Skip past a page here. All right, we're on day 18 of the month. Week 4 for Symmetry weeks ends tomorrow, or I'm sorry, starts tomorrow. And you guys have until April 25th to submit business, April 30th to get business issued. So we're all pushing for the end of the month. Get your policies in by the 25th, get them issued by the 30th. Kate and
And
I
guys,
found
we
that,
show this
yeah,
calendar week after week because Scott and I missed promotions from not understanding the symmetry calendar. So if you are slingshotting, if you are running for a level of leadership, if you are running for a 2-month promotion contract, take a screenshot of this and just be aware. And always, always, always front load your month. If you get what your requirements in by the 10th, 15th, 20th of the month, it makes the rest of the month a whole lot easier.
we learned the hard way. It's good to know where you're at in the month. The recruiting platform has been going awesome this month. This slide we'll kind of keep up the next couple weeks. That way people can get ready for May. The recruiting platform is something Kate and I have poured just a ton into for you guys, and I'm happy to share it with anyone that wants to be involved. We'll let you know what you need to be able to do that. You can use this QR code if you want to be a part of the recruiting rotation for May. There is a 5K minimum submit for April to be involved on that and a $300 cost. All right. So moving forward, this is kind of the last time there's a low barrier of entry for this recruiting rotation. Moving forward for June, you must issue 10K in May, and there will be no charge for the recruiting platform. So you issue 10K in business, you get on the platform, you get to run interviews and meet recruits without having to pay anything for it. So I thought that was
And
pretty
guys,
cool.
if you were on the Monday call, you heard Sarah Reineke kind of put us in check about this, about, 5K should be the bare minimum. We're aiming for 5K weeks, not 5K months. So by issuing 5K every week and making that a habit in your business, you're naturally going to issue 10K in a month and be able to be a part of this platform. And the reason that we are requiring this, guys, and kind of have changed things since we released this, is because if you are interviewing all these candidates that are coming in and applying to this job and saying, I want to be a part of this. What is this culture about? What is this? We want to make sure that you're on the other end of the interview equipped. You're credible, you're relatable, you can talk about the leads, you can talk about real life situations of what you made in your first couple, what you spent, what your ROI was, how quickly you were able to promote. We want you to have that real life experience to be able to speak to a new recruit saying, this is possible, this is real, I'm living proof. So that's why we kind of have made these changes over the last few weeks, you've heard, but it's all for your own good. Guys, Ashley did this for us, and we say this all the time, but Scott and I missed a rotation because we did not issue 10K. And we missed Wilbur. And we're very happy Bob got Wilbur. But if you know, Wilbur's one of our greatest friends. So, but it's true. It taught us a lesson. We never missed it again after that. So it's all for your good for growing your business here.
And Kate's doing all the legwork here. So she's sourcing candidates from LinkedIn, ZipRecruiter, Craigslist, Indeed, all the above. All you got to do is show up to the first interview. So you don't got to post the job ads or anything like that. Go ahead and sign up for May if that's on your heart. Next thing here, I'm just going to flash this real quick. Look, digital leads are great. I've worked them for quite a while. There's some really good training in the LMS for you guys to get up to speed on how to work digital leads. So if you pop into Opt and you're like, hey, Opt looks a little bit light today, I'm going to go grab myself some digital lighthouse leads, get trained up on it first. Different lead and a different beast for sure. It took me a couple months to get comfortable with these. So you guys can go into LMS and learn a little bit more about how to utilize digital leads. Engage National Conference just sent an email out to a bunch of leaders on the team about hotel blocks. They finally opened up the hotel discounts, so you guys can go ahead and block your rooms off. If you're planning on being at Denver conference, just sign up now. There's a payment plan at checkout if you don't want to pay the full cost right away. Get your spot there. We have a discount code for you guys. A few different leaders on the team bought discount codes for y'all. So if you're part of these base shops that you see here on the screen, use these discount codes, save yourself $60, buy your spouse a ticket so they can come with you too. And let's blow this up this year. Let's have some fun at conference. It's going to be great.
National call shout out. It's always weird to shout ourselves out, isn't it, babe?
So weird.
But it's really shouting out the team. Guys, super cool to see this just kind of all come into fruition on the national calls. Scott and I invested in cold market recruiting and a new onboarding platform back in November. And to see the growth and then see it on the leaderboards is super cool. So the team, not just Scott and I, took second place for new writers. We had 8 new writers, and then we had 6 in the base shop. So Love, love. Like where I was just telling Christina Watts yesterday, we feel such excitement and momentum right now that like in a way it feels like this baby is coming at the worst time, but at the same time, like we're just welcoming it and we're just gonna add one more thing. I told Scott, like, when we do have to go to the hospital, don't forget my laptop charger. Like we're gonna set boundaries where we need to, but it's also there's such a momentum and excitement right now with all the growth and all the new people coming on that like we want to be able to still be in touch with you guys and still be a part of everything. So super fun.
Let's go, Joseph Helms, number one key leader, new riders. He had two last week. Shout out to Paige and Joseph. We love you guys. Great job.
I think Joseph was the Hulk on the leaderboard, right?
Yeah, his picture is different every week, but maybe we'll get that updated next
Joseph,
week.
email Kellen a picture of you, that beautiful picture of you and Paige, so she can send it to corporate.
All right, we had two new riders so far this week. Shout out Beth and Shantae. You guys on the call today? Wave at me if you are. I see Beth there. Good job, Beth. You write one, you can write a million. And Beth didn't just want to write one small app. She wanted to write three really good size apps, 28.58 in annual premium. That's a heck of a first week. And then great job, Shantae, for getting one on the board. If you can write one, like I said, you can write a million. You guys are just getting started. We're very excited for you. This
5K
board.
by Friday. You
Yeah.
guys just heard us talk about this. This is the standard. This should be your bare minimum. If you are a new agent, this should be what you're working towards. This is when you start to see yourself and your business become the most profitable, that when you're ready to build, it's that much easier because you're already having this habit under your belt week to week. Joseph Helms, 8 apps, 5,400. Venus Diaz, 5 apps, 5,700. And Scott decided I'm going to come out and produce this week 2 apps for 7,700.
Shout out. We got page two. Giovanna Mitru, 8,000, 5 apps. Burt Wright, 9739, 3 apps. And Eleanor doing what Eleanor does, 12,288, 5 apps. Great job on 5K weeks, guys. That is amazing. We've got the top 20 here. We'll go over to the top 6. Jared Salatis for the month is at 10,721 with 8 apps. I believe he just added 6K to that last night. That's not showing on here. So great job, Jared. Burt Wright is at 11,318 with 4 apps. Venus Diaz. Venus is leading the call today, so I'm gonna juice her up a little bit. This girl's consistent. She knows how to show up on these leaderboards. Okay, she won the last man challenge or last man standing contest, most 5K weeks in a row this year, and is just staying consistent. Can't stop that girl. Bob Greenwood, 11,851, 9 apps. Eleanor is at 17,441 with 8 apps, and Giovanna is taking the gold right now. Giovanna, how do you do it? What are the cheat codes? Just teach us. What's the cheat code, G?
You go after elite producer once, so then you just can't stop.
Yep, that's it.
Road to ownership, y'all. This is one of our favorite new slides. Kellen's not on with us today, but very grateful that she put this into action for us. If you are newer and you're like, what does ownership mean? Review your levels of leadership. That will be found in your training, in base camp, in the handbook, all of it. At your fingertips. So these folks here are on their way to ownership, signing legal paperwork that they own their business. So what this means is that they are a writer with a writer if they are on this board. So Joseph Fritch has 2 writers, 2 apps, 747. Team Salatis, 2 writers, 10 apps, just over 12,000. Team Hadley, team leader already, 12,800 with 11 apps, 4 writers, 1 new writer. Team Greenwood, 17,000, 17 apps. That's a great ratio, guys. We love to see that. 4 writers and 1 new writer. Team Goldsmith, 21,000, 19 apps, 5 writers and 1 new writer. Team Helms, look at this. 24,000, 28 apps, 8 writers, and 4 new writers. That is the name of the game. Joseph is going to be hitting AO here real soon with that trajectory. Team Smith on his 3rd month of AO, guys. Hold Wilbur accountable. He's leaving for Costa Rica and has to get this done in a week. So encourage him, be in the virtual office with him, encourage him to keep going. You can DoorDash him a Celsius if you'd like, it helps. 28,000, 20 apps, 6 writers, 1 new writer. And then Sarah Neal, key leader, 29,000, 25 apps, 7 writers, and 1 new writer.
Hey, send Sarah Neal a Celsius too before Monday because she's starting 75 hard, but she's also running after
And
105
Jenny.
right now. So she's running after 105. Yeah, Jenny is too. All right, cool. Let's go. Love you guys. Amazing work. Here's the agency submit for the week so far. Total 210 submit, 166 apps, 51 riders, and 14 of you were brand new. And we are most stoked about you guys right now because we love seeing new agents win here. So um, you write one, you can write a whole book of business. So keep going. Shout out to the base shops that are putting in work this month. We're proud of you guys.
We
We've
told
got
Bob we
top
were coming for him.
producers
We
for
did.
net place for March. These are people that have at least 10 apps for March, and we're over a 65% issue rate. So top three goes to Eleanor McNamara. She was at 92%. We love seeing that. Rod Savelia, he was at 76% on 14,000 net placed, and Sarah Hadley was also in the top three for net place production at 70%. Guys, this is a big focus for us. We're fighting with you to get net place production up, and you guys are leading the way. So great job setting the example for getting things issued there.
Guys, what that means is those issue rates are people are getting paid on those. So Sarah Hadley had a 70% issue rate. She's getting paid on that 73. You can submit 70,000, but it matters what actually gets through the finish line of what you get paid on. So that's why we focus on issue rate and we focus on our core carriers and who pays the highest. So Scott's going to go over some really fun the next two slides that are from March. Now that Snapshot is final, it's going to show you what carriers are getting issued, what carriers should we be writing with, what carriers are paying us.
Take a screenshot if you like data, if you like to base your business off of data and what's working for people. But this is the net place carrier production board. So out of all of the business that you guys saw that was net placed over here, 173,000, these are the percentages of what carriers went into that 173,000. So we see Mutual of Omaha is our leading carrier for net place production last month, followed by Americo, followed by SBLI, followed by AMAM and LGA. And then Foresters, Transamerica, and UHL were on this list. National Life Group was below 1%, so we didn't add it to the board. So you guys know which policies to write. You guys know which carriers to go with. Go with the ones that issue business, okay? All right, that's why we show this slide once a month so that you can do what the smart people do and get their business issued. As far as carriers go, you guys can see like for total submit, what the actual production or what the actual net place percentage was for that particular carrier. SBLI took first. Like guys, we didn't have the most business submitted with them, but they placed the most business. And then this would be a good one to take a screenshot of. If you're new and you're like, man, I don't know who to write with, I would focus on the carriers that issue the most business for our agents, right? Kind of makes sense there. They're all core carriers. Most of them are instant issue. But I love this slide going through this once a month just because I want to follow the game plan. I don't want to rewrite the wheel. That's always how I've been. I would always ask people like, hey, which carrier should I be writing with? Which product should I go with? And
Yeah.
I'm good at following a game plan. So this is
Fred just put a great thing in the comment that we were advised by this by many mentors. Pick one or two carriers and become obsessed with them and pretend no other carriers exist. It's going to help you just become super familiar with them. And guys, those issue rates also go into quality casework. So all the business that was submitted to SBLI, you guys that did quality casework that you're familiar with. SBLI will take this, they won't take this. Our job is to present our clients what they qualify for, not just throwing mud at the wall and hoping something sticks, because that affects your issue rate. If you're submitting to a carrier that they won't get qualified for, that affects your issue rate, affects your pay. It all goes into, it's all linked together. So like Scott said, focusing on those core carriers. If I was new in the field, what I'm focusing on for term is LGA, then Americo for final expense, AMAM, and Moo. Those are my top four. Those are the ones that are gonna, I'm gonna see a higher issue rate. B, have great customer service to help you get things issued for your clients. And then C, you're getting paid and your clients are getting covered quicker. So we like to show that just so you guys have some data around, this isn't us just spitting, hey, go write these carriers. This is data of who's getting paid on what.
It's good stuff. Love it. I love seeing the comments in the chat. You guys like those last two slides? I do too. All right, Venus, I'll pass it over to you. How are you?
I am awesome. Thank you guys. Love all the updates on the slides. So very cool. Thank you, Skate. Thank you, Kellen. I think numbers here are so very important. They give us something to track, right? So that we know where we are. You can't know where you're going if you don't know where you are. But I'm super excited today because we have some special guests. I don't know if you guys got to witness the national call, but Fred and Gabby's team did an amazing job on the call, just laying out the FIF and reset process and what that looks like and what it means to an agent. And I love that. And I hope that we can get to some of the second grade pivot if possible, if we have some time. But I do truly want to hear you guys. And I know the team has been wanting to hear from you guys because your journey here has just been incredible. And we want to learn a little bit more about that. I think that's one of the greatest things that we have as a blessing here at Symmetry is we get to see lives transform. And you guys have done such a phenomenal job. And I just want to share some stats on these guys because they are a power couple here. But Gabby came into the business, looks like first in 2017 from POS sales. That's interesting. Top producer in her first year. Biggest month of production so far is 36,000. Over 994,000 in career sales of simplified issue life insurance and over 1,192 families protected with a career 82.1 issue rate. Love that. Broke out as an agency owner in June 2021. And then her husband, Fred, who I know was always there, joined full-time in June 2021, has a background in oil and gas for over a decade. You guys were 3 times, it looks like, Spirit Lifter Award winners. 2022 Symmetry on Outstanding Leadership Award winners. Those Quigleys that you guys see on the background. Yeah. 2-time ears recipients. And Gabby was also the number 10 Moo producer in SFG and won a trip to Maui in 2022. Their agency in 2022 did 795,000 annual premium volume with 138% growth. They were the 3rd fastest growing AOs in Symmetry. In 2023, they've done 1.268 in APV. They've had another 59% growth. Top 20 fastest growing agency directors in SFG. And in 2024, another 1.327 million. And so far, the number 1 for AOs in recruits, new riders, and unique riders in 2022. Got another Quigley there. And broke out as agency directors in August of 2023. I love this stat. This was a funny one that you shared. Roethlisberger is 14 letters long and also making it the longest name among all agency owners in Symmetry. And then Gabby used to be a Smith. I guess you had to graduate to the 14 letters, Gabby. So I am super excited to have you guys share. So let's get it rolling. I want to start with your story. What brought you guys here?
Yeah, so I always find that really funny because Fred is proud of his last name, and now it's my last name, and I am proud to be a Roethlisberger. But Wilbur, yes, we are probably cousins. I used to be Smith, and then I had to learn how to spell these 14 letters. And everybody, I actually love that stat because everybody thinks Ashton DeLungalunde, like that sounds longer, but it's not. It is not. But hello, everybody. My name is Gabby. As Dina said, I am direct to Beth Maddox in the Pappas Whalen hierarchy. Super blessed to be so. And I'm here in Houston, Texas. Can I have a 1 in the chat for any Texans on the team? You guys are like up north. Okay. All right. I love it. You guys are in our turf gate. No, I'm kidding. So I'm a typical obnoxious Texan. We love to talk about Texas, just Texas till I die, right? That's me. And then I brainwashed Fred. But I got into Symmetry. I had 1 job before I came to Symmetry. So I barely even knew what was what. Like PTO, I was there for like a year and I was doing point of sale sales where I was going out to restaurants and bars and trying to sell them computer systems. But before that, I was an athlete all my life. I played softball, and that was my identity. And you get done with college, there isn't pro for softball. There is, but there's no money to be made there. And so you get spit out, and you're like, who am I? Right? What do I do now? That was me. And so I had that one job, and I realized very quickly that I was not meant to work for somebody else. I didn't know that I had this kind of entrepreneurial bone in my body, but I did. And I quit my job and was looking for a business opportunity. Thankfully, came across Symmetry. So I actually found Symmetry, like was searching for opportunities. I kept coming across the insurance industry. And I don't know if any of you can relate, but I was like, gross, no, what? I'm not becoming an insurance agent. But now I can stand in the fact that we have the best, most badass license on the face of the earth. What we are able to do, all of the advanced markets, I mean, we literally change people's lives. 25-year-old Gabby didn't realize what she had, but I get chills thinking about just how I stumbled upon this company. And that's probably like a lot of you. And some of you may be new and you don't know what you don't know yet. But this company is life-changing. And Fred, we met in Texas, and he's an oil and gas guy, right? Like you just would not think he would become an insurance agent. And so we're doing this business together now, but that's how I found Symmetry. I truly just wanted to, main thing in the beginning was to have an uncapped income. That was all I could really think about. And I wanted to own a business. Those were the two things. Our vision has grown dramatically, especially since starting a family, but that was my start. Fred, you give your introduction of how you found Symmetry.
Yeah, thank you, Venus. Thank you, Scott and Kate. We're just very excited to be on here. I know we get a chance to see a lot of y'all on the morning accountability calls. My name is Fred Roethlisberger. I have the same Symmetry introduction. I just get to start it with I'm direct to my wife, Gabby. And I actually kind of enjoyed this when I was recruiting. I did that for several years, and we've kind of switched roles now, which we may talk about. But I have probably the worst life insurance resume of anybody on the planet. And so grew up in a small town, dead end dirt road, hardworking parents. And I went to school and got a geology degree. And so I actually spent about 7-8 years working on oil rigs in the Gulf of Mexico. And that parlayed into 2017. And it was really awesome. I got to meet Gabby as she was starting her journey here at Symmetry. And so earlier you guys had that conference slide up, and it was crazy because as I was getting to know Gabby, I didn't really know that she worked at Symmetry. I knew she had these little business cards on her desk, but like I didn't really know it or feel it, is because she was just getting started, and some crazy people told her a conference was important. And so after doing about $5,000 in 6 months total, she goes, heck, I guess I'll go to conference and give it a shot. And the rest is history. She came home, did 17,000 the next month. I got to see that. I got to support her. And then in 2020, when the world changed, I saw something clicked in my mind. I just could never, I supported her. I love the people she did with. I love this company from being a supportive spouse. But y'all, when the pivot happened from in-person to virtual, like this used to have to be something where Gabby would be driving around an hour and a half, going into homes. And I was like, Gab, because she had asked, right? She's probably asked a million times before I joined, but it was like, I'm not going to go have a cat lay on my lap in a trailer an hour and a half from home. And like, I couldn't get myself there. But once this went virtual, y'all, the opportunity to now just like build a team nationwide, to be able to help people nationwide, to be able to, instead of being on a porch 2 hours from your home and having to go to Taco Bell and make some dials and then go to your other appointments, now, when you get someone that doesn't show up to an appointment, you can book 3 more. And so that pivot, it was like, oh, I could see this. And then that kind of coincided with myself just being in oil and gas for a decade. I'd gone through 3 downturns, and I'm like, I went and got a degree so I wouldn't have to deal with this. And then one day I just realized that Gabby was doing this for us, for our future, for our dreams. And a few conversations with some mentors, and hopped in full time during the agency on a run. So that's kind of my intro. And then since then, just been full-time doing this together.
First, I want to say this. I feel exposed that you told everybody that I would have a no-show and then go to Taco Bell. Thank you for that. That's just what you did. You did your
I didn't
feelings.
say you. I think you just exposed yourself.
Oh, in home appointment.
I love that, you guys. I love two things that I want to lean into a little bit, because I love that you said this, Gabby, that your identity was right sports, and that's what you knew. And then when you came to Symmetry, you recognize that it gives us a platform to figure out who we are and what we want, right? And what's important to us. And I love that about this. And I love that you shared that. And Fred, I love that you came in kind of watching what Gabby was doing, and you got to witness, right, those strides and those things that happened over time. So I'd like you guys to kind of lean into, like, when you first came in, what was the expectation? Like, what did you expect, in this to be like, versus what the reality was? Talk to me a little bit there.
Yeah, go ahead first, Gab, because I'll build off that.
Well, I expected to be a lot better at it. That's for sure. I don't know. I mean, put a 1 in the chat if you can relate to that, and don't feel like you have to. I don't know if I was just like my cockiness from sports, but I was like, oh, like I can do this. I can call some people. Never have I ever been so more afraid of picking up my cell phone. Like, it was just so scary. But I expected Venus to be really good at it, and that didn't happen. And one thing that I wasn't expecting was to be so quick to want to quit. Because that's actually my story. Fred gave me actually more credit. 5,000. He said I wrote 5,000 in, what was it, 4 months. I got my license in May. It was more like 3,000 in 4 months. And I was immediately in a quitting phase. I don't know if anybody can relate to that. Even the new people on the call, you may even be there, right? Like, maybe you've had your first dial session and you're like, I don't know about this. But that was me. And thankfully I had gotten my conference ticket. So I had backed myself into a corner and got myself to conference. But I wasn't expecting to quit so soon, right? In my mind, I didn't actually do it, but then I got myself to conference. So I was expecting to be better at it, and I wasn't expecting to want to quit so quickly. And so how that has changed for me is really bringing people on as a builder, and as we're growing our agency. It brings me back to where I was. Obviously, it was a different opportunity, but bringing people in and kind of hearing the same things, right? Everybody has that, a little bit of fear of the phone, fear of rejection, has those questions of, can I do this? And that's what I find these calls so important. We say, and Sarah has coined this and I've stolen it, your success here is directly tied to your level of engagement in our community and culture. And I tell everybody that, even on interviews, like from the start, how do you feel about working with a team? Because that's what we do here. And I say that, I'll say it again, Kate, your level of success, everybody, has a direct correlation to your level of engagement in our culture and our community. Lone Rangers don't work out here. And I think back to my start, I was a Lone Ranger. I was trying to, do this myself. But, I can figure this out. I'm smart. I can talk to people, right? But it's nothing like when you're actually plugged into our culture. And that's what we're seeing with people we're bringing on. That's different from what I had starting, is being in the live dials, being in the Mac room is what we call ours. I think y'all call your work room. Just being connected, being plugged into the calls, it truly makes a difference on someone succeeding or not succeeding here. And so that's where I've seen it shift a little bit as we're on the building side now. And it's just exciting. Like, we love bringing people on to plug them into our culture and our community, and all of the calls that we have, like this one.
Yeah, I think going along with what you said, Gabby, like I had an opportunity. I had been to several events from 2017 to when I started in 2021. So I had a little bit, I didn't know a lot of people, but I had a sense of community. And so I think one of the things early on that if I could go back and maybe not have that familiarity with Gabby when I started is you have to start developing relationships with those people on your team, especially those people that are where you want to be, right? Anybody can go with someone else that's, oh man, have my first style session, that stinks. Oh, that stinks. Like that's not where you want to be. We're not wallowing here, but like the more you can like get yourself around people that are where you want to be, like that's number one. And so I think when I started Venus, I had that a little bit is I had access to some people that were where I wanted to be. My biggest thing, and I don't know if anybody on here can relate, I've been an employee my whole life. So I was like, I was brainwashed, and now I'm going into being an entrepreneur. We're 3 weeks into this, and I did 17 10-minute interviews in my first month. And I'm like, this entrepreneur stuff is easy. I'm kicking up, I'm raking the lawn. And Gabby just came in and she's in month 3 of an AO run. Like, I think she did like 21 or 26,000 that month. She comes in and she's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm just living the life of being an entrepreneur. But like, so being an employee, one of my biggest challenges coming in was learning how to work for myself. Like I would literally jump through hoops, do whatever. You need me in West Texas tomorrow. I got to be there in 14 hours. It's a 12-hour drive. I'm there. You need me here. I'm there. I would do whatever for a company that didn't really, at the end of the day, care about me. But when it came to for me, it took me a while to learn how to work for myself. And so I'll say this to you because this took me a couple of years to get down is you're going to hear this again and again. You have to read like your life depends on it. And this is not, oh my gosh, sappy personal development. The books that you're going to be reading are going to be retraining and rewiring you on how to think, right? If you think about people that are where you're at, you're like, they're not much different than me. No, but they've been personally developed. They've been rewiring themselves for success, for abundance, for that. And so a big part of my journey from employee to entrepreneur was starting to rewire. I went 2 years here where I would off and on read 10 pages a day, but I would read it to read it. And if you ask me any of the words in there, I couldn't even tell you one of them. And so start reading intentionally and implementing what you're reading, because that is going to be how you go from like level 1 to level 17 here. At the end of the day, what we do is we get leads, we dial them, we set appointments, run appointments, write applications. Someone applies for a job, we reach out to someone we know, we talk to them about the opportunity, they come on board, right? I just explained production and building in 15 seconds, right? It's pretty simple, but the part that we leave out sometimes is you have to become someone that's successful. And so I would get with your mentor today and be like, all right, Fred said this, I'm going to be serious about personal development more so than anything else in my life. So that would be kind of my lesson learned, Venus, that I didn't get for the first couple of years of being here is who you're becoming, like Kay said.
I love that so much, what you guys shared, because I think so many, myself included, when we came in, right, there were so many scary things, right? Those lessons that you kind of learned. Gabby touched on some of those, but when you're surrounded by the people that have gone before you and done it, and they've proven the system over and over and over, and they have bigger vision and bigger belief, you start to borrow that belief, borrow that vision, and yours start to expand with those wins when you start doing the things like you said, Fred, leaning in to, hey, I got to get used to showing up for myself the same way that I showed up for my boss. I've got to commit. And when I say I'm going to do something, not get up and decide the laundry looks really, really cool to do because I'm struggling right now. Right. And I think that's so important, that rewiring, that professional development, which I love that part of this company. But talk about a little bit, because I think you kind of leaned into this, and I want to, some of the other habits and the other disciplines that kind of keep you guys fueled in your journey here.
Yeah, I'll hop in first on this one, Gab. I think, and I actually saw this recently, but when if as an employee, you are probably getting up at the same time every day, getting to work at the same time every day. And so as an entrepreneur, one of the biggest things I would say is like, have a schedule, right? Have a time that you're getting up every day. If you're getting up one day at 5, one day at 8:30, one day at 6:30, one day at 9:45, how are you expecting to have a routine and start to build momentum when you can't even like get your morning started. And so I would say have a time that you're getting up every morning and then figure out that morning routine. If you've never done one or you're trying to figure that out, you want to start with Miracle Morning, Hal Elrod, like that's incredible. But like get that morning routine that works for you. For me, get up at 5 a.m. I do my affirmations, I do my gratitude journal, and I read, right? It used to be 10 pages. Now it's at least half an hour, right? And so what is that for you where you can just get that foundation for your day? And that is going to be super important because Venus, if I would say for 90% of people, if you're not doing the affirmations, the reading, the journaling, and getting yourself right in the morning, you're going to say you're going to do it at 3. You're going to say you're going to do it at 7, but it's not going to happen. And then on the business side of this, like the habits you need to get into is 10 sits a week. And so whatever you need to do to get yourself to 10 sits a week, more resources, more activity, getting to 10 sits a week. I have never seen anybody lose here that does 10 sits a week consistently over the course of 6 to 8 months. I've also never seen anybody brand new here do 1,000+ dials for 8 weeks and not move to 85. And so you're saying, hey, I've been at 80 for 6 months. Well, have you done 1,000 dials for 6 weeks? You got to do something different. And we know the numbers of what it looks like. And on the building side, you have to be consistently sharing the opportunity, right? We have an agency on our team. We have a key leader on our team. The difference between them, when you weren't seeing necessarily the fruits of recruiting, that key leader quit. He put it off. I'm not seeing results. The agency owner kept going, even though they didn't see the light at the end of the tunnel. Now their paths have started to diverge. So you constantly have to be sharing the opportunity on the recruiting side. So you want to have those habits, whether it's personally on the production side or on the building side, know what those metrics are and go out and hit them.
Yeah, so I would say that you guys actually have probably the best leaders in the company as far as how to keep yourself fueled with Kate and Scott and Venus and Giovanna. Like you guys, one of the things that I feel like I'm leaning into, and for those that don't know that aren't on the accountability call, I'm on day 17, I think, of 75 hard. And the mindset being, I want to become somebody who I just do what I say I'm going to do always. And what's really cool, and we know Kate and Scott well, but not that well. But one thing I can know about them is that if they say they're going to do something, they do it. And how I know that is because Scott wakes up, works out, makes his post of his eggs and his cottage cheese, right? Like the spends time with Liam, right? And like the power of social media, you can get to know somebody. But I truly, through social media and through knowing you guys, the little that we do, I know that you're a person of your word. And that's what I want to be. And that's what I would say for everybody on the call to answer your question, like, how do you stay fueled? Everything that Fred said is correct, right? Like we work for ourselves. You got to set up your day with a great morning schedule, but like take it deeper than that. Because if what we're doing is we are becoming the person who is an agency owner, we're becoming 130s, we're becoming equity partners. If we take it a step deeper and come from that lens, put simply, can you answer the question, am I somebody who is a person of their word? And if you feel like icky about that when you try and answer that question, maybe it's time to shake things up, right? Maybe it's time to do something hard, 75 hard, right? Maybe it's time to shake things up in your morning schedule. Because that's my like thought process around it is I want to, Scott was like, hey, if you have a sick kid, if you need to get out of this, let us know. And we immediately answer, I was like, no way. Right? Like we've already figured it out. We're doing it because we said we were, right? Like Bo's fine. He's going to be fine. He's sick. What am I going to stare at him? Yes, I'm going to cuddle him later, but I'm going to be here because we said so. And I don't know, that was like on my heart to share. And that brings me to what Fred said, in the chat. And this like shook me when Brian said this. He didn't say it to me. And I actually heard from Brad Smith, who heard him say this to one of Brian Delaney's agency owners who is not growing. And he asked that agency owner who's not growing, When is the last time you did something interesting, let alone inspiring? Ouch. Like, ouch. I would probably die if he said that to me. But I was able to answer that question and ask myself that. And that was what brought me to 75 Hard. You know, like, that's the coolest thing about being an agency owner and being a business owner and an entrepreneur, which is all of you, is you have the power to create things in your business. We are creators, right? I'm not talking social media, but we are creators of our future. That's what you get to have when you work for yourself. When you work for somebody else, you're not, that's, in my opinion, that's not what's happening in the way that it is when you work for yourself. So we are creating our 90 days from now. We're creating our year from now. And if you come from that lens every morning and the alarm goes off at 5 a.m., like that feels a little different than you just waking up to go clock in, right? So I don't know. I don't know if that even answered your question.
You did 100% and more. And I love that you did, because those things that you guys hit on, I think, are so important, right? That consistency, no matter what you're doing, whether that's for your business in production, like you said, Fred, or for your building an agency, if that's something that's on your heart to do, right? Because those routines, that activity, those things that you're committing to, like you're saying, Gabby, and showing up for every day, are those little The Slight Edge. I love that book, The Slight Edge, right? But Jeff Olson, I love, one of my favorites, but it talks about that. And that's exactly what you guys do every single day. And it's why you've seen the growth, right? And I love that you said that you're doing 75 Hard. A lot of our team, I saw on the accountability, is getting ready to start it. I know when I started, it wound up being 113 hard because day 38, I failed. I learned very quickly that when you travel, you cannot underestimate preparation when it comes to that. And I wound up having to restart and do it again, but that was life-changing. And those decisions that you guys are making, I think, are keys, right? Because you're saying that it doesn't matter, right, what happened yesterday. What matters is what I do today and what I do next. And I love that you guys share that. So I'd like to understand a little bit more about how your business has evolved from when you guys started, right? Like, what was your initial vision, your initial goals, your initial whys, and how has that changed?
I feel like I want to bounce this to Fred, because for those that don't, we're both guardians. If you know the 5 voices, the symmetry isms, we're both guardians, but I feel like Fred has some creative in him, and he's really good at like the vision of the future, I think, more than me. You go, Fred.
Yeah, I think initially, when I came in, I was in a position where, Gabby, and we had some talks with some other couples when I came in about like how they handle the business together. And so, we talked to a couple and we kind of took this mindset back in 2021 of like, hey, Gabby's going to be the now money, go and help families, and I'm kind of the future money. And so when you become agency owner, that means you have 6 writers, right? So that's awesome. You get ownership, but like, how do you go from those 6 writers to having an agency of growth, an agency to get you where you're looking to go, of not only getting to the top of the company, but growing leaders to kind of get there with you as well, right? And so that was part of kind of my journey those first couple of years. Was one, we didn't have a slide from our mentors saying, hit this QR code and we can help you build your team. I found 4-year-old ZipRecruiter ads. So they would have been like 2016. I found them in 2021. And I would be on every builder's call and get on YouTube's and put together a script of what the heck I was going to say. And 2 weeks before that, I was at 3 a.m. talking to some guy on a rig in West Texas Chevron. Like, I just was starting from scratch. And so I want y'all to know how fortunate you are to be able to have that system in place. So we came in and, my philosophy with, hey, I'm the future money, was, all right, I know if someone hops on, this example would be if I'm brand new, if someone hops on a call with Scott or Kate and me, they're going to go with Scott and Kate. And so like, but I know if they do 1 interview with them and I do 20 interviews, one, I'm going to get it better. And then two, I'm going to start to close that gap. And so the example I think I gave at the time was Jacob Pogue. I'm like, man, he's so good. Like if they talk to him and talk to me. And so we took that time of 2022, 2023 to do massive action, to figure out some things, to grow what we were capable of. And Gabby was doing that on the production side with earning the Mutual of Omaha trip. And then from there, we started to identify leaders, right? And so a big part of what we were looking to do is, one, bring people in, have them be successful, but two, like we know that the cash flow quadrant, when you start here by yourself, you're self-employed. So your income is tied to your feet. So we wanted to grow a team and impact others. And by helping others win, that's also going to help us develop passive income where less of what we have every month is tied to our feet. And so that was kind of our journey over the course of the last few years. And then we started seeing more and more at the beginning of last year, Symmetry was starting to implement more resets, advanced markets. And my mindset was like, hey, we didn't really have anybody to take that flag. And so do I see myself being an SME in 10 years? Maybe, maybe not. But in order to get that started for our team, it made sense for me to start that journey. And so I did that last year along with building. Gabby was producing, helping the agents. And then we've made that pivot to where now I help the agency with resets. I'm an SME, and she gets to be full-time growing the team and doing that. And so you can see your Venus, whether it's a spouse, whether it's a friend, whether it's just someone you hire, you're going to start to get those running buddies that are going to help you with growing those parts of the business. And so that's really something that was kind of the process. And then now the vision is like, hey, like bigger than ever, like $100 million agency in 10 years. And so when you have that great vision for where you're going, that opens up space for all the people that you're bringing in, right? Now we want Charity, now we want Christian and all our other teammates to have this big agency and crush it. Whereas if we're just thinking, hey, we want to make 10,000 passively a month, that doesn't really give them space to grow. And so as you grow as a person, as you learn here, your vision for what's possible and what you're looking to do will also grow.
Love that so much. How you guys, and I love the way you said that Gabby's like, you were the future money. Gabby was the now money.
Now money. Yeah. I mean, you can take that in your business now, like, right? Like I have to produce right now in my schedule. I'm working on the now money. Like it's going to come into my bank account now. Future money is you're bringing somebody on, right? There's some learning curve. There's some, and so that's you doing the interviews. And I couldn't agree more with Fred. The opportunity that you guys have to build your team with what Kate and Scott have offered to, if you do 5K, I think it was 10K, it's free. Utilize that. And some of you may be so new that you don't realize what you have hold of with that opportunity. But just like, take my word for it, hit the numbers, hit the mark to get yourself in that game, because that game is so much more fun, right? Like when you are busy, people get more done, right? And so if you still have the same problems of trying to figure out production, it's time to have some new problems, right? Like it's time to have some new problems. How long are you going to let production be a problem for you? Figure out production so that you can have new problems of, well, okay, I got somebody through the shoot, somebody's licensed, they're ready to go, they got their welcome email. Now what do I do? Right? Have new problems in your business, and that's going to grow you, right? If you're a year later still in having the same issues and dealing with the same problems, then you aren't growing. And so I love that you guys have that in front of them to, push for, right? This is not just going to be given to you. You have to figure out production. We all have to pay our bills. We all have to deal with now money, and that's production. But how can I push and get myself there so I can build the future money? And that's what it is.
Man, that's so much gold right there. You guys, I wish we had like another 20 minutes to just
Oh
go.
my God.
Yeah, the
Venus,
time just
1 minute.
flew
So,
by.
I know we're Venus. I know we're
Yes.
almost done. I
Yeah.
have something that's been kind of on my heart that I would love to share with the team if I just have a
Please.
second.
Yes.
Y'all, Scott and Kate are about to go through something very special. And one of the biggest gifts of what we get to do here is to be present for events like this and times like this. And we went through this last year, and just some lessons learned is, leadership here at Symmetry is taken. And so this season is a time for each of you to step up, right? We had a lot of people disappear, ghost on us. They were doing numbers when we were present, but then and so this is for you. This opportunity is for you. And so this is a time for you to step up and show leadership for your business. And so that's really your best way to support Scott and Kate, is to go out there and help families and accomplish your goals, because that's what's going to make them so proud. And one other thing I'll say is, if Scott or Kate tell you, hey, we're available, or hey, we're available at these times, reach out to them. Don't be too proud to. We had people that were having really bad problems, and they would not let us know because they wanted to give us our time. And so if Scott and Kate aren't available, I know that they're going to give you the resources and people to be there for you. And I would say that includes me and Gabby, anything we can do. But I want you to know this is a season of opportunity. While there's going to be so much joy in the Schnitzer household, a season of opportunity for you to step into that next level. Gabby says this all the time. Leadership is taken here at Symmetry. And this is a time where each of you can step up and show that leadership to your leaders.
I just want to piggyback off of that. So well said, Fred. I'm so happy you said that. Leadership is taken. Let this story be for the Schnitzer agency. Let this story be Schnitzer Master. I know there are other agencies in here, but let the story be that this agency grew times 10 when they were having a baby. What a fun story to be a part of. Not everybody gets to create stories in this way. Right? You guys have something big going on. Let this story be big. Let this story be fun. Let's all have fun with this business. This business doesn't have to be hard. People like to say it's hard. It actually can be fun. You can choose excitement. You can choose fun. Let's have fun in this time and support some amazing leaders in this company as they have the best little blessing ever. And I thought that you were going to have the baby today. I was like, she's going to get off the call and we're going to just rock her world. And then she's going to go into labor. No.
I think
Hey, you
she's
never
coming
know,
next
that
week.
might happen.
I don't know. I have a feeling she's not here till next week. My guess is 23rd or 25th. So we'll see.
I love it. I can't wait.
Well, I love that you guys shared that, and thank you so much for leaning into that. We do have something tremendously special, and we love Scott and Kate tremendously here, and all the leaders here are going to be rocking it this week, this month, because we know that we're just going to push them up to the next level, because they've poured into us so much, and still do every single day. So we are grateful for that. And we are grateful for you guys for coming in and pouring in to us and for sharing your story. Thank you so much. So much that you guys shared is just wisdom from experience. And I hope that you guys got a lot of that. And if you want more, go back and listen to the Wednesday National Call, where you got to hear the second great pivot, because we didn't get to get into that. And I hope that we do in the future, but we are going to be training on that, guys, in the workroom. So stay tuned. Thank you guys for being here with us. You guys have a wonderful rest of your week. We'll see you soon. See you at conference.
Thanks, Venus. See you at conference.